Today, we're diving into the cold, hard science and the totally unexpected legal red tape behind the ultimate sci-fi fantasy, bringing dinosaurs back to life. Let's get right into it. You've probably seen the internet debates. People love to claim that if these ancient beasts came back today, they'd easily reclaim their spot as apex predators. You know, you picture a T-Rex casually strolling downtown, totally dominating the food chain. But the actual reality? It's way less cinematic. The very first hurdle isn't building giant electric fences. It's literally the air we breathe. Our modern Earth would be instantly hostile to them. For starters, we're sitting at about 21% oxygen today. That would leave a massive dinosaur literally gasping for air, especially when you compare it to the rich 30% oxygen levels they evolved for back in the Mesozoic era.
And that atmospheric shock, that is just the tip of the iceberg. A resurrected dino would face a rapid-fire sequence of biological nightmares. We're talking freezing in our modern climate zones, or getting wiped out by the common bird flu because they have absolutely zero immunity to modern bugs. They could even starve to death with a completely full stomach. Why? Because the essential gut bacteria they needed to digest their food went extinct 66 million years ago.
Honestly, the most ironic part is they wouldn't even need a giant asteroid to take them out today. It could literally just be a daisy. Seriously, research shows dinosaurs actually lacked the psychological defense mechanisms to associate modern, toxic flowering plants with feeling sick. So they wouldn't learn from a stomachache. They'd just keep munching on toxic flowers until it killed them.
But, okay, let's play devil's advocate and pretend they somehow survived all that biology. What about human warfare? The internet absolutely loves to debate weaponizing a T-Rex, but military strategists are incredibly blunt about this. To quote one analysis, then it gets deployed, eats a rocket to the face, and dies. A living flesh and blood creature simply cannot compete with modern artillery.
Even beyond rockets, the real bottleneck here is pure logistics. Imagine the absolute nightmare of keeping a giant apex predator fed, hydrated, and medically treated in the middle of a combat zone. They're huge, they light up like a Christmas tree on thermal imaging, and their behavior under fire would be entirely unpredictable. As a weapon, they are vastly inferior to just a standard mechanized drone.
Now, here's where things get really wild. The most unexpected hurdle of all isn't military, and it isn't biological. It's bureaucratic. Yes, red tape. A paper published in the Ecology Law Quarterly, aptly titled Frankenstein's Mammoth, highlights a completely different minefield. We have absolutely zero global legal framework for resurrected species.
The exact moment a dinosaur is brought back through de-extinction, it enters this massive, messy legal gray area. We'd see immediate international incidents over custody, massive fights over patent rights on the DNA itself, and you just know a rampant black market trade would pop up overnight. The geopolitical scramble for these assets would make oil conflicts look tame by comparison.
Our existing wildlife treaties are completely unequipped to handle this. Think about it. If a genetically engineered raptor migrates and crosses a national border, whose property is it? Who pays for the ecological damage? We would have to draft an entirely new, incredibly complex global treaty just to legally manage the fact that they exist.
So, that brings us to the real crux of this explainer. The fantasy of a pet dinosaur or some awesome prehistoric zoo is super captivating for sure, but when you look at the suffocating, biologically hostile, and legally chaotic reality waiting for them, it leaves us with a much heavier question. Even if we somehow could cross this sci-fi boundary, should we?